Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Far From Pro podcast. I am your host, Evan Walsh.
Back.
With me is the man, the myth, the one and only, my co-host, Joseph Meyer. Let's dive right in.
Mm-hmm.
Hot or not? You start us off. What do you got?
Let's dive right in. I got a hot for us. Extra contract stipulations, added things in contracts.
Oh, yeah.
We all saw the Kyler Murray thing this week with he has to do studying. He can't play video games while he's studying film. They ended up taking that out. That's a tough look for the brother. But then also, I don't know if you saw this, there's a report out that Zion Williamson has a contract stipulation in his new contract where he has to stay under weight plus body fat percentage, has to stay under 295. Otherwise, he gets fined or gets away some of his money.
Know.
That is hilarious. The fact that both of those things happen in the same week.
And the people writing these contracts are putting those in there just to make – because here's the thing. If these stars, like say Kyler Murray in 2 years isn't watching film, you know how hard it's going to be to walk up to your quarterback that you're paying $40 million, that's the king of your franchise, and be like, hey, man, like you need to start watching film. How do you think that's going to go down with him? What if you just kind of slip it in the contract? Then it's like, hey, man, it's written down in writing. And
hours a week,
he's a FaZe member. Kyler Murray, if some of you don't know, he was like he's an honorary like member of FaZe or something. I don't know. So big FaZe guy. So he's a big gamer. So he who knows?
I don't know how you'd have time for video games and being
they do it. They do it. But yeah, that
apparently
is fun.
So.
I think the Zion Williamson one is way funnier because it's like they're basically saying you can't be a fat ass. Like it doesn't matter how hard you try. Like you cannot be a fatty no matter what, and you have to stay. They're like, Zion, you can't eat that much during the off season. You can eat, but you can't eat that much during the off season. So I get it. Get it.
The funniest part about it is that it's not weight. It's the body percentage, the body fat percentage. So he could be like 225 with 50% body fat and still 50% body fat and still be good. He could be walking around like a bowling ball, not able to move and still be able to get his money, which I think is hilarious.
I mean, well, hey, we'll see how he does. I'm excited for him to come back, Joseph. I really am. He's going to be a stud. That team's going to be good with CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram. But anyway,
it'll be nice.
So I actually don't
you got a hot for us
anymore. I was gonna put up a hot, but then I realized this needs to be prioritized. The Choco Taco has been canceled.
Yes,
removed. Has been
that
discontinued.
is.
So for those of you who don't know what the Choco Taco is, which is disappointing in and of itself, you should get on your computer, your iPhone, whatever you need to, and look up the Choco Taco. It is one of God's true delicacies, one of God's true best creations. It got me by in the ice cream world. It really mixed things up. It came in there trying to create ruckus, and it did, and it made some noise, and it was phenomenal. And for them to discontinue,
what's the point here? What are we doing?
That's a good question. That's good.
What? It's a classic.
That's a good question, actually.
Brilliant.
So there was a fan that had reached out to Klondike and asked why they discontinued the Choco Taco. And can I read you what Klondike had told the people?
Mm-hmm. Please do.
For their reasoning. Thank you for reaching out and your patience. The Klondike Choco Taco has unfortunately been discontinued. Hang on. I'm going to make sure I get this picture of this because I need to get a picture of this. The Choco Taco is discontinued in both 1-count and 4-count pack sizes. Over the past 2 years, we've experienced an unprecedented spike in demand across our portfolio and have had to make very tough decisions to ensure availability of our full portfolio nationwide. A necessary but unfortunate part of this process is that we sometimes must discontinue products, even a beloved item like the Choco Taco. We know this may be very disappointing. We hope you'll try our other delicious frozen treats.
Give me a break.
So here's
full portfolio. What are we doing? Full portfolio.
So they basically said,
You're an ice cream company.
Said this
isn't a 401k.
This product is so loved and so in high demand. So many people want to eat it that they just said, fuck that. I don't want to help you. I don't want to do the work to be put in those extra orders of Choco Tacos to make sure this country can be satisfied. Instead, we're just going to discontinue it so I don't have to put in the work. It's such a terrible move on Klondike's part. What a bad PR move. And to be quite frank, I don't like Klondike. I have a different look and respect on Klondike now. 100%.
Yeah. It's like, what would you do for a Klondike bar? Now, not a lot because the Choco Taco is just not in there. When you got the bins at like a gas station and you reach in there, the Choco Taco is that ice cream bar that you're going to grab. There's a couple up there too, but the Choco Taco's in there.
It's really
you're going to grab that. It's a hot
so
day.
Special.
Horrible move. I love the knot on your part. I have another knot, and you might like this one.
2 knots out of the Joseph camp.
Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Because here's what happened. Julio Jones had 2 options. The Green Bay Packers, where he could be a number 1 wide receiver, get every target because we know they have 0 weapons, or go to the Bucs with a crowded wide receiver room, a very crowded wide receiver room. And he said, you know what? Aaron Rodgers ain't winning me a Super Bowl. Doesn't matter how many targets I get. Doesn't matter how many catches I get. Doesn't matter if I'm the greatest thing to ever happen to Green Bay. I'm going down south. I'm going with Tom Brady. Yet another win for Tom Brady and another L for Aaron Rodgers. Nobody wants to play with Aaron Rodgers. Nobody wants to play for the Packers organization because, man, that's a dump right now. I can't wait for the Packers to not win the division like we talked about 2 weeks ago. So Julio Jones is going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Brady is way better teammate than Rodgers. It continues to happen. It continues to happen.
So here's my thing. And you were right. He did have 2 options, the Green Bay Packers or Tampa Bay. So, Joseph, can I ask you, if you were Julio Jones, where would you have gone? If you were in Julio Jones' shoes, where would you have gone? Tampa Bay. Okay. I'm glad we...
Tampa Bay.
Here's my thing. You're not going to Green Bay. Here's Aaron Rodgers' problem. You're in Green Bay, dude. You're in Green Bay. No one wants to live in Green Bay. No one wants to play in Green Bay. No one wants to play in the frozen tundra. No one wants to be forced to play in the frozen tundra just to go to the Super Bowl. No one
with
wants.
Aaron Rodgers.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Aaron Rodgers.
I would be willing to bet if Tom Brady was the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, he would still get a lot of free agents. I would be willing to bet.
You know, that is neither here nor there, Joseph. What is more the question at hand is, where are you going to go? Sunny Florida, where you can have a very good chance of winning a Super Bowl, or go up in dog crap, dog poop, freaking frozen tundra dog crap. All right, it's a no-brainer, and there really is no debate, to be quite frank. So we're just going to move
that
on
decision all
from
too
this
well.
conversation.
You know that decision all too well, going down to sunny Florida.
Yeah, I know.
Getting out of that cold.
Yeah, I know better.
And let's get this straight. Minneapolis ain't as bad as Green Bay. Let's get that straight. All right, that Green Bay is a whole nother level. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers is a not. He will always be a not because they're not winning the division this year because he has no weapons to throw to. It's great. All right.
So
let's move on.
I'm gonna throw a little transition to you, Joseph. A little transition. Yeah. Donovan Mitchell.
Mm-hmm. That was stark.
God knows how many questions are about this guy. God knows where he's going next year. If you are Donovan Mitchell, Joseph, where are you going? Where do you think is the best spot for Donovan Mitchell?
If I'm Donovan Mitchell, or if where I want to go, or where I...
If you're Donovan Mitchell, where you want to go. If you're Donovan Mitchell and you want to go somewhere, where are you going?
He wants to go to New York. He wants to be a Knick. He wants to put on that blue and orange and sit in MSG and get just he would be the man of a century. Here's the problem. Mm-hmm. Jazz came out this week. They don't even want RJ Barrett. What is this going to take to bring in Donovan Mitchell? I mean, look, the Jazz got their hopes up so high with Rudy Gobert. I mean, they got a king's ransom for Rudy Gobert. They're sitting there like a kid on Christmas going, I just opened this package, and it's the greatest toy I've ever seen. And yet, I still have another one. This one's got to be better, right? It's got to be better, and it's probably significantly better because I think Donovan Mitchell is a significantly better player than Rudy Gobert. I think the asking price is going to be too high, and for that reason, I think Donovan Mitchell will still be a Utah Jazz. What would you say? A Jazz member, a Utah Jazzer next season. It's unfortunate.
That's a great take. It is a great take. And I can definitely see your points around it. And I agree with you. I think he should be going to New York. I think he should look to be playing in New York for multiple reasons. And like you said, the Jazz are being very stingy right now. Mm-hmm. They got more than what they bargained for with the Timberwolves pick. I think they're going to be very, very happy with the players they received and also with the picks they received. Jesus Christ. And now you got another superstar in your hands. Now, you have to understand something. We're playing a time now where if the superstar doesn't want to play in your city, you're going to be getting a different level of that superstar, even if he does play there. You sign him to this unlimited amount of money. He doesn't want to be there. Yeah. So, you have a few options on your hands.
He hasn't wanted to be there for quite some time.
Now you got to look to expand, right?
He hasn't
I know, but the thing is, you were trying to make things work with another superstar. You had Rudy Gobert, so you were like, all right, well, now I have two superstars. We have a good guy, 6th man of the year candidate off the bench. We have the weapons. We have the overall team to maybe see we can make something work. They tried. It doesn't work. Now they need to go, all right, one superstar isn't going to be enough. We know that. Here's what I think the Jazz need to do. I think we've talked about it before, dismantle. Get rid of everything. All my stars. Get rid of as many players as I can that are keeping up cap space. Keep my long-term valuable players that I think are going to be veterans that can teach the young core people that are going to be this new Utah Jazz franchise. Use your draft picks. Get as many as you can and just rebuild. Wait 10 to 20 years. And in 10 to 20 years, we'll see how the Utah Jazz are. Same with Oklahoma City Thunder. We'll see where the Oklahoma City Thunder are. Oh yeah, it's going to take a long time.
You think a resident of good old Salt Lake City is going to be willing to wait around 10 to 20 years to be a team that makes the playoffs again?
Well, they're going to fucking have to, dude. Let me tell you something. They're just not. They're not. It's bro.
All right, you might bite your words with that one. There's a very high chance you're going to bite your words with that one. Rebuilding an NBA
nowadays is no effing joke. Because here's the thing. You can rebuild and make a team you want, but you're going to be going against super teams. Because a team, go and trade for players and get them all you want. Go ahead. Good luck. You're not going to be able to get as many players and trade for as many players as you want. That's going to be able to beat Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and that team. Or if you want to go to the Lakers, if they actually can play good, like a good roster, LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, and Anthony Davis. Or we can move on over to the Boston Celtics now. Or, you know what I mean? It's like these are super teams now. Like Miami Heat, they make teams loaded with all-stars. So in the NBA now, if you want to rebuild, look at the Orlando Magic, look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, look at the Houston Rockets. All three of those teams suck dick. But the thing is, they have very young cores.
That's where you're wrong right
very
there.
Young cores.
Because the Orlando Magic are going to be a playoff team this year because they got some of the swaggiest white boys I've ever seen on a basketball court at the same time. I agree. Orlando Magic playoff team. And I agree. I think they mark it down. July 29th. I think they will be better than they were last year for sure. Run that back.
But it's because they're building a young core. Now that they got Paolo, they got Jalen, they got Cole Anthony, they have a young team, Markelle Fultz with young talent that can be very, very good, and they built good. It's Oklahoma City Thunder. Now they have Holmgren, Josh Giddey, Trey Mann. They're gonna have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, just signed him to a huge contract because they're building their teams up again. The Jazz are gonna do the same thing. The Thunder, this is like I would say since they've been basically rebuilding since after Russ. But even that, once KD and Russ broke up, KD, Russ, and that team that went to the finals. What have they done since? Nothing. Ever since Kevin Durant left, they've basically been in rebuild mode, and especially since getting rid of Russell Westbrook. And it's been like 5 years.
That's the problem with this.
And they have another 5 more years where they're going to be good, Joseph.
The Knicks aren't going to want to do that, right?
What do you mean?
the Knicks aren't going to want to pull a complete give out all your picks for a player that you might. I mean, you're going to be a good team, but you're not winning a championship with Donovan Mitchell and a couple other guys, Jalen Brunson,
I think
RJ Barrett. But
yeah.
I don't know. I just think the asking price is going to be way too high. So I think he might be on the Jazz again for another couple years.
I agree. I will look.
All right,
let's go into our NFC.
Let's move into our NFC West predictions.
This is an interesting one. I'm excited to see what your list is gonna be. I am because I don't know. This is a crazy division in my opinion. This is like how do I explain?
A lot of things could go either way.
Yeah, exactly. And it's super I gotta find my list here. Damn it. All right, you know what? You start us off, Joseph. You start us off. I'm trying to find my list here.
All right. NFC West predictions. Coming in at the bottom, I got the Seattle Seahawks. Man, I tried to give them wins. I tried as hard as I could. And the most possible wins I could come up with was 2. I can't. Drew Lock. I'm hoping for a revival, you know.
Even after the DK Metcalf signing?
Man, I can't see it. There's no quarterback.
Yeah, you know.
Drew Lock is should not be a quarterback in this league. Like, I don't get it. And, you know, maybe he proves me wrong. Maybe Denver is the spot where quarterbacks go to die. And maybe Drew, because, I mean, we've seen it. Paxton Lynch, Trevor Siemian, probably Russell Wilson this year.
Oh my,
maybe Drew Lock was just being held back by that Denver Broncos. By that Denver Broncos organization. So maybe Drew Lock proves me wrong, but I think if Drew Lock is on the field, the Seattle Seahawks are going to struggle, especially in this division. They're playing the AFC West, which is 4 L's right off the bat. It's going to be a tough year for the Seattle Seahawks. You know, maybe 2's a bit harsh. I don't think anyone really expects to only win 2 games. There's a lot of fluke games, but man, the schedule's tough. I tried to even wins against, you know, Falcons and Giants and all those, but those teams were the teams I was giving their only wins to the Seattle Seahawks. So it's like these bottom feeders, it's like you give the wins to each other and they all trade off, and somebody's got to win those games. And so it might be the Seahawks that come out with 2 wins. What do you have at bottom? I hope it's the Seahawks. If it's anyone else, I'm going to have a problem.
I have the Seahawks I gave him 3 wins.
Okay. Wow,
I think that's me being very generous. I was trying to slip it. I really think they're going to be really bad. I think with him as a quarterback and just that team overall, I think is get really bad. So I for sure am on your end.
We saw him without Russ last year.
I agree.
We saw him without Russ last year. It didn't really go very well. Did not go very well. And this year the division's better and their schedule's harder. So I don't know. I don't see it. Who do you have coming in at 3rd?
So I got the Cardinals coming in at 3rd.
Wow, okay.
But it's not because I think the Cardinals are going to suck. I don't think the Cardinals are going to suck. I just think that I have them going in at 10-7. Okay. Is that absurd for me to say 10-7? Because I have the 49ers going 11-6. We're only 1 game above them. Okay. But I think it'll be that close. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
and I think that, like, that's me. Maybe that's too much. But here's why. I have the Cardinals going 10-7 and the 49ers going 11-6. I just think the 49ers are going to be a little bit better. I don't know how much better. I just think that team overall is going to be better than the Cardinals. I think they're better. We're well coached. I think Kyle Shanahan's a way better coach than Kingsbury for sure. And I also think that. Now, I guess with Trey Lance now as their main quarterback, you know, everyone's, he doesn't have much experience. He's not. I get it. I understand. But you got to look at the team around him. The team around him is unbelievable. They're experienced. They've been playing together. They've done this, and they're good. He has the weapons around him. I seriously, I think that those are my 2 predictions.
So you might not like this. I'm out on the Cardinals this year, especially with no D-Hop for the first 6 games. Their first 3 games are against the Chiefs, Raiders, and Rams, all without D-Hop, fresh off the year. And I have the Cardinals going 7-10, and I know a lot of people are not gonna like that. I know people are gonna say that I'm a hater or whatever. There's too much offseason distraction for me. Too much talk about the Cardinals in the offseason that it makes me think that we're really just not gonna be prepared for the season. I know it's all fun. I know it's all fun and games with the Kyler stuff, but I mean we've seen this before. If they don't, the Cardinals have started well the last 3 years, right? They've started really well and fell off at the end of the year. Last year, they were able to make the playoffs even though they fell off. This year, front-loaded schedule, no D-Hop, and if they still fall off, if the Cliff Kingsbury effect comes out and they lose their last 4 of 6, they're not going to win too many games. They play the AFC West. They play the NFC West, 2 of the best divisions in football. I think Kyler Murray with all the distractions, not super high on Cliff Kingsbury. I'm just out on the Cardinals this year. It might come back to bite me, but there's not a ton that really strikes fear into me about the Cardinals. Even though I think Kyler Murray's a good player, I think he's a versatile guy, but he doesn't really, ring the bell for me as far as winning a lot of games this year. A lot of people have them Super Bowl contenders. I don't even have them making the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, Joseph. And then to wrap it all off, I have the Rams going 13-4. I think. Here's my thing with the Rams. They're the same team, except better now. They added a roster and people on their team that are filled holes and gaps they needed to. And also they just got better. Now, people are saying, well, they lost OBJ, they lost certain players, but they also gained players too. They got a bunch of studs and they lost Von Miller, and I get it, but at the end of the day, I think they got better overall with the players they added. They still have the same team led by the same quarterback with the same number 1 wide receiver. They're going to get Robert Woods back. I don't know. I think this team's going to be really, really good again, and I'm giving them 13-4 for they're going to win the AFC West. That's my prediction.
That's valid. The NFC West. I agree there. We got the same order. I have the 49ers winning 10 games, going 10-7. I'm lower on Trey Lance actually than I was at the beginning of last year. Like I was a huge Trey Lance guy. I thought if the 49ers do not draft Trey Lance and they draft any other quarterback at 3, they're making a huge mistake because I really think he could have that Patrick Mahomes level jump after sitting out a year behind Jimmy G. But we saw him in action a little bit and it wasn't like it didn't really scare me.
Stick out.
But I know after a whole season, I think he's going to be ready to take over the reins. As long as if Debo's happy and healthy and he is willing to put his all in and try this season, I think the 49ers are a borderline playoff team, even with Trey Lance and some growing pains. And then I have the Rams. I think they should be the Super Bowl favorites as of now. I think they could easily get to the Super Bowl. And for that reason, I have them also going 13-4 because there's nothing that they lost that I'm like, what are we doing? Like they got Allen Robinson. We don't know if OBJ will be back. Obviously, with the torn ACL, he wouldn't be the same. But they didn't lose anything significant in my mind, and I think they'll be right back to where they are. Another year in the system for Matthew Stafford. Another year with Cooper Kupp. I think there's no reason to expect that they don't repeat the same exact thing. Although I do want to talk about this division. We might be giving them too many wins because I'm looking at the schedule right now. These teams have some of the hardest schedules in the league. I mean, obviously they play the AFC West, and the division's already tough. But as I was going back and looking at the Cardinals stretch, the only team outside of the division that the Cardinals play that is not a playoff contender, I think, is the Falcons. They got the Patriots, the Broncos, the Buccaneers, Chargers, Raiders, Chiefs, Saints, Vikings. They play the Rams twice. I think the Eagles would be good. That's tough. The Rams, they play some tough teams here too. They've all got the Bucks. They've all got the Chiefs, the Saints. The Rams play the Packers, the Broncos, the Chargers. Speaking of which, Week 17, LA versus LA.
That game's
gonna be prime time. I'm telling you right now.
That's gonna be electric.
That's gonna be Sunday Night Football.
Electric game. Yeah.
And it could be a Super Bowl preview. That's all I'm saying.
Here we go with this.
We know you disagree on that. We know you're different on that. But I'm excited for the LA teams this year, and the Rams are one of those teams. I think
There's
the LA
some intense
Rams
weeks
are a Super Bowl contender
when
and they win the
Chargers and
division.
Broncos play, bro. I was thinking about that. When the Broncos and Chargers play, It's gonna be some intense podcasts. I mean,
people are gonna want to tune into that.
I mean, it's gonna be hard for you, and I think that overall, when you look at the overall landscape,
it's gonna be hard for me.
Well, I don't like when I see my friends hurt and when I see them in pain after loss. So for me, I'm thinking, last year was the past 2 years, they are what they are. You know what I mean? But this is where it matters. We have a dog in at QB now. We have a roster that is looking for a Lombardi. We're looking for a Lombardi.
NFC West Predictions.
Oh, I bet you are, Joseph, because I am. I'm ready to rock with my AFC West prediction. We're not going to get into that right now.
But I think the two Wests are going to be. I think the NFC West will be the best division in the NFC at least. So. I love the Rams. I love the 49ers. Cardinals and Seahawks I'm out on, but maybe they'll prove me wrong.
There's potential there, Joseph. Other than that, do you have anything else?
Got anything else for us? That's all I got.
Yeah, I don't have anything else. Follow the social medias, like what we post, comment on what we post, give us some feedback, let us know. We appreciate you guys for listening. We will be back. It's NFC East next week, right? NFC East next week for predictions.
Big week next week. Yep, I'm telling you that right now.
NFC East.
I've got some hot takes for next week.
Yeah. I hope I do too, Joseph. I'm going to look into it more in the following week. Appreciate you guys for listening. And everyone, please enjoy their weekends.
Peace.